This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. I'm joined over Zoom by victorious Anthony Taylor. Anthony, I guess you're still buzzing from the weekend.
Absolutely, Fred. It feels good, man. Uh, I caught a flu, so caught the flu a little bit, I guess, on the plane. But I feel great, man. Overall, I'm just excited to be in this position. It took me a long time to get here, but it was worth it. It took me 3 years to get here. Mm.
It's good you caught the flu on the plane back rather than before the fight. It'd have been a little bit, I guess, disastrous to catch it before the fight. So you got unlucky,
Right.
you got a little bit lucky there. I was interviewing you. It wasn't for the first time because the first one was on Zoom. But I remember interviewing you last year in March. And it was actually at the OVO Arena, the Showstar event. It was after your Tommy Fury fight. And I think you just got robbed against a normal English MMA fighter. And you've been quite unlucky. You've been an away fighter, the fighter on the road for quite a long time. How good does it feel to kind of now have a chip on the shoulder, and now be one of the main men, and now be ranked as number 4 in KSI's influencer boxing pound for pound list?
It feels great, man. Um, let me tell Keem, let me tell Keemstar, give me 1 second. Give, hold on, give me a sec on a call. Um, Sorry, it feels good, man. I don't I don't dwell on those losses. I don't dwell on the past losses. I just make up for it because you're only as good as your last victory, your last win. So I'm happy that I'm acknowledged by the community now, that I've been embraced, because at first I wasn't embraced by people in the community of me being an influencer boxer. But look, I'm doing more than any other influencer boxers are, besides Jake Paul and KSI, because it's their brand, MVP. So of course you're gonna do what you can to build your brand up for Jake Paul, and then you got KSI and Misfits. Of course you're going to do everything to build your brand because it's your brand. I can't outdo those two guys because they are the show. I can't. So I can only do what I can in my ability, and it feels good to be up there and acknowledged.
Certainly. I guess now you're kind of the main figureheads of Misfits after beating Sort Pappy. A lot of people are now saying, a lot of people are having Sort Pappy up, and a lot of people are now saying he wasn't as good as people were saying they were. Because you know how whenever it's kind of that's why I find frustrating my boxing. When a fighter loses, instantly people just write them off. When no one should write off Sort Pappy whatsoever, because he's a great, great fighter. I know he's watching this right now. How you doing, Nathan? Was he as good as you expected? How do you find the fight with him? Talk me through it now.
Oh man, it's great. He's a good fighter, bro. Strong, he's quick, he's fast. I just had a game plan. I executed my game plan. Just because you lose doesn't mean you have to be written off. When we saw the Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao, we saw how Floyd easily beat Pacquiao by unanimous decision. It doesn't mean that Pacquiao was a bad fighter. Just Floyd had a game plan. I'm sure Saul Papi could knock out any other opponent coming his way. I just had a game plan and I executed it with my coach's help and my teammate help. I wouldn't write off Saul Papi just yet. He's still a top 5 fighter in the game, you know. Personally, I feel like he is, and he's going to come back stronger, just like Ashley Raxu did.
Did anything about him surprise you at all in the fight?
Um, I say his speed. He's really quick.
But did you not expect that
For
watching tape beforehand?
Yeah, I expected that, but I just knew that what I had to do to neutralize that speed. Because if I allowed him to get comfortable, I was going to be in trouble. So I had to make sure that I made it an uncomfortable fight for him himself.
How would have your game plan been different if the fight had been 4 rounds?
Uh, uh, to be honest, I wanted to do the opposite with Josh Bruckner. Try to be the aggressor and get caught. Because when you're too aggressive against the counterpuncher, you're going to get caught with something. And that something is what's going to knock you out. So my goal and game plan with my coach was have Saul Parker be the aggressor and have him be the more impatient one and just pick him apart from the body, disrupting his rhythm as he becoming an aggressor. Because we always knew Saul Poppy wasn't the aggressor. He was always the counterpuncher. So I knew what I needed to do, which was that.
Okay. Okay, that's quite interesting thing you use there. Do you think the rematch with Sort Papi would be next though? Do you think that's next on the radar?
Yeah, I mean, in the future, yeah. I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say it's a rematch of the next fight, but it's definitely something that I can revisit in the future, maybe next year, possibly in the Philippines as the main event. I'm willing to give him that shot. But right now, I'm gonna let him build his name, build his record up. I think he deserves that. Unless this was like a title fight and he was a champ and I beat the champ, yeah, then that's a different story. But right now, I'm gonna let him build his confidence. Let him build himself up again.
If you were sort of Palace manager, who would you put him in with next?
I like the fact that uh I like the fact that even though I beat him, I think a good fight would be him and Raksu. Ashley Raksu. I think that's the fight to make. Since Ashley Raksu beat King Kenny, and King Kenny used to talk about fighting Saul Poppy, I think Ashley Raksu and Saul Poppy would be a great fight.
But what did you make of the Soul Papi versus Deji rumors that Keemstar was tweeting yesterday at 170?
I like that fight, but honestly, to God, I don't think they're going to allow Deji to take that type of fight. Deji, I feel like Deji's not ready yet. Don't don't quote me, but I'm not sure if he is or not. I just see the level of opponents he's fought opposed to opponents that Saul Poppy's fought. I don't think Deji's there yet to fight a Saul Poppy. Let Deji, like Leon said, let him call his shots. Let him fight when he wants to fight. It's eventually going to cross paths in the future. So let him feel comfortable picking and choosing who he wants to fight.
Yeah, I agree. That's true. That's fair enough. But for yourself though, you're in a very, very good position. What's next to yourself?
I would like the Slim fight or Gib, but I'm not sure if them two are willing to fight me. But right now, I'm just gonna do what Mam's saying. I'll wait till I get the call from Mams, and hopefully Mam said, "Once you fight this guy, let's do it." I'm a team player. I'm a man who's scared of no one.
So the Slim fight, I guess when I was interviewing Slim before fight week, you were saying you or Blueface, if you would have to would beat Sort Pappy to get that fight. But now you've beaten Sort Pappy. How would you do against Slim? Because I reckon that's the fight that happens next.
Oh man, Slim's a tougher opponent. And I'm not discrediting Saul. I just feel like Slim is 6-0 for a reason. He has knockout power. He's tall, he's long, and he's a very awkward fighter. He's not a traditional boxer. He's an awkward fighter. That's a tough challenge for me. I'm not going to sit here saying, "Oh, I'm gonna beat him up," but it's an easy fight. Though. It's an easy fight. Every fight I say is an easy fight. Just know that's an easy fight. But I just got to build him up. Build, break, build him. But Slim, going back to building Slim, Slim's a tough fight, but it's an easy fight for me. But it's for the title. It's a title shot. I have a chance to make history in that division.
But the Slim fight would be at 160. Are you comfortable with that weight class?
I don't think Slim can fight at 160. I think I think honest to God, I can get as low as 145 if needed to be. I think 168 is a good super middleweight title shot, which is great. I mean, honestly, there's no 160 weight class in boxing. I mean, you have 54, you have 52 and 54. Other than that, you got 160 to 68. That's super middleweight.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just thought that as well. But then I guess you
Yeah,
could
because
go by the UFC weight.
if you
You could go by the UFC weight classes, but there's no 160 weight in UFC either.
right, because if you look at it, yeah, Slim could come at 160. I could come in at 168. That's still a qualification for a super middleweight title. It's
Yeah.
the same thing when you look at cruiserweight. 176 to 195 or higher to 200 is considered cruiserweight.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can see it coming from there. So what weight would you be? What weight would you fight at? 168 if you're
68.
on.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
168. I'll weigh as low as 168 and Slim could go in as 160.
Okay. Okay. I reckon if it was at 168, Slim would fight you 168. I don't think he would go a bit lower. Just moving on a little bit though. KSI fight against Joe Fournier. What would you make of the ending there? Since that's the news of the last few days.
Um, yeah, I'll try to tread carefully with that question. Um, I mean, look, it's not like KSI had intentions to hurt him or to finish the fight like that. I feel like it was accidental, even though it's an illegal move, but it was an accidental elbow. Just call it a no contest. Move on. Move forward. There's no point of having that rematch from Joe Fournier. Joe Fournier, he doesn't really build the fight. So he doesn't really build the fight correctly. I mean, there's no excitement of him fighting. Just he doesn't do social media. He's not really an exciting boxer per se. He was going to lose, but it's unfortunate that the fight ended the way it ended it. You know, like I said, it was an uh, unintentional elbow, meaning he didn't mean to do it. So, I mean, the only actions that should take be taken about it is a no contest. Move forward is what it is.
But then in the ring after, KSI faced off with Tommy Fury. You're quite a good person to talk to about this because you fought Tommy. What year was that? Was 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like 2 years ago. I took a Tommy Fury fight on 3 weeks notice for it.
But you weren't as good a boxer then as you are now, I would say.
Correct, correct. I'm a new and improved fighter, boxer now. Uh, to be honest, that is a tough fight for KSI. I think I'm gonna slightly go with. I'm gonna have to go with Tommy Fury on this one, just because Tommy Fury's fought tougher opponents. When you look at KSI, his last four opponents, he hasn't been hit. He hasn't been hit. If you think about it, um, I feel like this will happen. We obviously heard Nikisa and MVP talk about fighting KSI in February. Look, you get a Tommy Fury fight, winner of that, whatever. You win that fight or lose that fight. Then you fight me towards the end of the year. Then that gives you enough time to fight Jake in February. In February,
Hmm. It's interesting
I
because,
think. Go ahead.
well, they got the heavyweight tournament in Saudi Arabia, which is meant to happen between Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Usyk, and Tyson Fury. So to have KSI Jake Paul in December wouldn't really make sense of that going on. And so January is always I guess, quite a quiet month for boxing. So February would be quite ideal, February, March time. The only issue of it being in February is that you can't do an outside arena just because it's so cold in England. In England, if you have that fight, KSI Jake Paul in England, it'd be a lot bigger draw. A lot more fans would go to it. So that fight, Wembley would be perfect for that fight. But Wembley summertime,
Right.
you can't do Wembley in the winter. Unless you do Cardiff, that's an indoor stadium, but it's a tricky one.
How big is Cardiff?
About 50,000, 60,000.
Then that's the fight you need to make. Then
Mm, I would say so.
that I say you fight Tommy whatever August or September. Then you fight me in Cardiff. You fight me in Cardiff, and then you fight Jake in February.
What would you have to do to get a shot at KSI? I remember you were talking to him at the public workout, weren't you? You were saying, if I beat Stop Happy, if I beat Slim, if I beat Logan, then I get you. Are you sticking to
I
that?
mean, yeah, I'm not sure if Logan would fight me. I think Logan he has already have a lot of those play as far as like WWE. But I think I just I just have to play my cards right. This game is not about skill. I mean, it's not about luck. It's about skills. I think I need to win a fight or two to be considered of a possible potential fight with me in KSI.
Okay, that's fair enough. But I know we've gone a little bit off topic here. Let's get back to KSI Tommy Fury. How does that fight go down? What happens in that fight?
Uh, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm going to have to go with Tommy Fury. My gut saying Tommy Fury because he's fought more experienced fighters like me and Jake Paul, and he's beaten us fair and square. You know, I don't really see that KSI has really been challenged yet to say we can convincingly say he's going to beat Tommy Fury.
But do you think the KSI or Tommy Fury, do you think they can get either of them can get a stoppage in that fight? Do you think that's more of a boxing
No,
decision?
no, it's more of a boxing. I have a feeling that Tommy's going to win by decision, not knockout. Tommy doesn't have knockout power.
But KSI does have knockout power.
I mean, you're talking about guys like look, he shows that he has knockout power. He's shown that. Yeah, I'm not going to take nothing from KSI, but it just comes down to the opponents. Who are you fighting to show that you have knockout power?
Mm, I guess so. It's a difficult one. It's a tricky one. But I guess you'll be trying me on the undercard of that. I reckon it'll be in September. August, a little bit too soon. September, October time. Do you think that's when you're fighting next in the undercard of that? Or a little bit sooner? I remember before the Soul Papi fight, you were saying how you want to be inactive as possible. Active as possible, not inactive.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't mind if Jake. I mean, if KSI and Tommy Fury fought in August, that's 3 months from now, Fred. That's 3 months. That's a 12-month training. I mean, 12-week training camp. Why not? Get it in there, get it out.
Mm. Then who does if KSI wins that, who does he fight before February? He's not gonna not fight from August to February, is he?
Fight me. Fight me. I'm the top guy in the top five. You might as well fight somebody that you haven't beat yet. You beat Tommy. Let's say you fight beat Tommy. I'm there at number three. I'm there at number four. Fight me. You're not gonna fight your brother, did you? You want to be able to fight. You want to be able to fight and beat the top five guys to be called the undisputed influential boxer of the world.
Okay. Okay, so
You,
maybe if you get the win over Slim and then Kessler does need an opponent, that could be a possibility. But I don't know. It's a difficult one. That's what makes influence boxing so interesting. You never truly know what can get thrown in the woodworks.
absolutely. You just never know, Fred. And it all depends how you look at those type of things. I don't really see Gibb as a big voice in the influencer world. Gibb is not a draw. He's not a draw. It's not a big deal. Slim's there because he has a 6-0 influencing record.
And who
So
else? I'm
I'm
listening. And who else?
um I mean, look, a lot of people are saying after the Tommy Fury, if Tommy Fury fight doesn't work or come through, it's realistic that he needs to fight me next. Ideally. It just makes sense since I'm top five, it just makes sense.
Hmm. What about you fighting Tyron Woodley?
Um, you know, with that fight, to be honest, Tyron Wood is gonna have to work his way up. He's on a 6-fight losing streak altogether. In boxing, 2 fight. He's going to have to work his way up. You can't just get a crack at the top five like that. I had to earn my way up there. I think Joe Fournier and Tyron Woodley would be a good match.
That could be quite good for actually. I'll interview Joe. I'll interview Joe soon on Zoom, so I can ask him about that one. Before I let you go, Anthony, anything come up for yourself, social media wise, after a big win? Any brand deals? Anyone hitting you up about anything exciting?
Oh man, I'm just hoping to look for one, man. I'm just happy that I get to interview with Fred Beck. He's a cool guy, man. I like Fred. Fred's always in red. um, I'm just happy to be in this position, Fred. Just soaking it in with my family, my girl, my dogs. Just overall, I'm just happy to be in this position. I want to thank Mams. I want to thank Nikisa, Jake Paul, KSI. Those guys for giving me an opportunity to fight on their platform. They didn't have to, but they gave me a chance to fight on their platform. Win, lose, or draw, I respect them all.
I do respect you, Anthony. Even when we were in Dubai together, Dubai Mall. I mean, I can't remember what the restaurant we went to was called. I went to it in Vegas as well, the same restaurant. Cheesecake. Yeah, that's what it was. Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory.
And you paid for my meal there, which is very kind of you. So I do always appreciate you, Anthony. Thank you.
You family, Fred. I consider you family, brother.